image, but I'm going to make it some theme music. And whenever you hear the theme music, the sound of the trumpets, sound of the flutes, sound of the strings, and all the other instruments, when you hear the theme music for the golden image, I want you to bow down and worship it. And he had a big debut. He called all the sheriffs, called all the politicians, he called all the sergeants, and he called all the priests, and he had a big celebration and a debut for this golden image that everyone was to worship in his kingdom. But I thank God that there were three ordinary rocks that was among the Hebrews: Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And they said, "O king, we are not going to bow down to your image." And the Bible says that the king became furious because the three Hebrew boys refused to bow down. And they refused to bow down because they realized that they served a God that is able to deliver them from all punishments of the enemy. But if not, we still will not bow down to your image. And you see, the reason why these three Hebrew boys went through what they went through is because they took a stand for something. And I need to stop right here, church, and put a peg and let you know that you will encounter some trouble in your life when you have made up in your mind that you will take a stand for something. The reason why these three Hebrew boys, these three rocks in my analogy, took a stand for something is because they knew that although they may appear like everybody else on the outside, they have laced through them some value on the inside. And I came to tell you, church, that when you realize how valuable you really are, you're not just going to bow down to anything. Once you realize how valuable you really are, you're not just going to take abuse from anybody. When you realize how valuable you really are, you'll learn to take a stand for everything that you want to go through. When you learn who you really are, you're not going to let anybody just talk to you any kind of way. When you learn who you really are, you're not going to stay in an abusive relationship all your life. When you learn who you really are, you may be down for a night, but even though you are down in some ashes, there is some beauty that's going to come your way. We've been made good for a night, but when you know you have value, you understand that joy comes in the morning. I'm better than what you think I am. I'm more than your view of me, because I realize I have value on the inside. Look at your neighbor, say, "I'm valuable, I'm valuable." Touch somebody and say, "I'm valuable." I'm not just going to take anything from anybody, baby. I'm valuable. You're not just going to travel over me. I'm valuable. You're not going to just put me out. I'm valuable. You might not see my value, but I see my value. And when I wake up in the morning, I speak over myself and I say, "TJ, you look good. TJ, you look better. TJ, you look stronger. TJ, you look wiser. I don't care what they say about you. You will prosper and enjoy good health, even as your soul prospers, because I am valuable." When you're valuable, you just don't bow down for anything. When you're valuable, you stand by what you believe in. I don't care what the school system says about my child. He's valuable. Y'all hear me here. You have to learn, children, your inner value. And the three Hebrew boys, I need to get back to the text. The three Hebrew boys refused to bow down to the order of King Nebuchadnezzar because they realized they had value. The ore, the beginning of the gold making process. The rock that appears average, the rock that appears like just another piece of dirt, actually has value if you have a trained eye to detect it. It starts off in the dirt, but if you have the trained eye, you realize you have an investment out of that dirt. Lord have mercy. This is for somebody. Look at your name and say, "There's a blessing in the furnace." Once this ore, this rock, this piece of dirt, has been examined by the geologist and he realizes that there's value in it, he can see the lace of the gold in it. He then takes this rock down to the refining plant. And it will tell you, if you study the process of making gold, that this rock goes through a refining process where impurities are removed to extract the value. The first thing the ore goes through is it gets pulverized into pieces.
Come on now, come on.
Some of you need to look at this for the spiritual eye.
Come on. Yeah, Lord.
First, the ore must get pulverized into pieces to a fine powder as like sand on a beach. Then this powder is mixed with water. And to this water are chemicals like cyanide and oxygen, which creates a reaction in which the gold particles in the slime or the mixture of the water and the chemicals, the gold particles begin to separate themselves.
Come on.
And they begin to break off and be free-flying particles. Then to this they add zinc, and they boil that water down back to a powder. And all you're left with is little pieces of gold.
Come on.
But it's broken.
Come on, TJ, come on.
The broken pieces are taken into the furnace at temperatures over 1,000 degrees Celsius. And it is in the furnace that further impurities that couldn't be caught by the chemicals are removed in the furnace. And then you have a liquid of pure gold that they pour into blocks and they shape. In that process, you're going to notice two steps. There's going to be an agitation by chemicals, and there's going to be purification and a formation through fire.
Come on.
Look at your neighbor and say, I am valuable.
I am valuable.
Some of you tonight, you are in that phase where you are a piece of rock. And you're dirty, you're filthy, and you're not where you want to be, but you understand you're valuable. God has a refining fire that he can put you through. But first, you need to be pulverized and broken into pieces. And after you've been broken into pieces, the miner will tell you that you have to be agitated by some chemicals. Now, I just want to encourage somebody. Is there anybody in here tonight that feels like you're being agitated in your life? Now, when I'm talking about an agitation of chemicals, I mean things are poking you, and things are pulling on you, and things are pushing you back, and yet at the same time things are jerking you forward, and you wake up in the morning disoriented, and your body is racking with pain, and your friends aren't acting like they used to act, and the job is becoming more stressful and stressful, and you can't get your children to cooperate in school, and you can't get the finances to line up with the bills, and you can't get your spiritual life right with God. These are all different forms of agitation, but the reason why the Lord will let you go through some agitation is because he's trying to separate you from all of that dirt, from all of those particles, from all of that crust that's been building up on you all these years. Do not get afraid, because God is agitating some things, because if he can agitate you the right way, he can pull the value out of you. I wish I had some help in here. He can pull the value out of you. Look at your neighbor, say, neighbor, don't get aggravated because you're agitated. It is in the agitation that God is preparing you for greater. It is in the agitation that God is making you stronger. It is in the agitation that God is doing a new thing. Don't get worried if the lights get cut off. It's not over. You're just being agitated. Don't get worried if the car don't want to start in the morning. It's not over for you. You're just agitated. Don't get worried if you get laid off your job. It's not over for you. You're just getting agitated. Don't get worried if you got to file bankruptcy. It's not over for The gold, after it's been agitated by chemicals. I'm trying to hurry. I know y'all got things to do. The gold, after it's been agitated by chemicals, it comes out as gold, but it's in broken pieces.
Come on, come on, come on.
Yes.
I went through step one. I see my value, but I'm still broken. Y'all didn't come here for this. I went through all this agitation in my life and in my family. And I survived the agitation. And I am gold now, but I'm still broken.
Come on, come on, come on, come on.
There's pieces of me all over the place. And it seems like I don't have nothing together. And right when you're in this broken phase, I believe God has a sense of humor. Right when you're in this broken phase, co-pastor, He has the audacity to throw you and all your broken pieces in the furnace.
Come on, come on, come on.
Yes.
The Hebrew boys, after they've been through hell and high water, they rejected to eat the dainty foods. They rejected to bow down. And after all of this torture, being pulled out of their land to a land in which they don't even know, the enemy has the audacity to throw them in the furnace. But I came to tell you, church, that the furnace is necessary for you to come out in shape.
Come on now, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on.
Yes. Y'all didn't come here for this. I'm in the wrong place.
Come on, come on, come on.
The gold pieces, after they come through the agitation already, are thrown into a fiery furnace. Now you got to get something about this furnace. The temperature of the furnace is over 1,000 degrees Celsius. Look at your neighbor and say, that's some hot stuff. It's heated over 1,000 degrees Celsius. For you to get an understanding of what 1,000 degrees Celsius is, the boiling point for water is 100 degrees Celsius. And you know, if I take some boiling hot water and throw it on you right now, you remember when Dio, that lady with the boiling grits, threw it on that Negro who was beating her up, and you could hear him holler from 10 miles away. If I take some boiling hot water and I throw it on you, Pastor, you go into the hospital with all kind of burns and lacerations. So imagine that 10 times hotter. And you have the equality of the furnace that gold has to go through. The furnace is heated 10 times hot. You're going to catch it. Then boiling water. Gold cannot purify at the rate of boiling water. But the extra heat is necessary for the gold to come out as a finished product. Now Nebuchadnezzar heated the furnace 7 times hot. Because he thought the extra heat was going to bring extra punishment. But little did he know that it was the extra intensity of the heat that was necessary to bring something valuable out of the Hebrew boys. I came to tell you, church, that sometimes right when you're knocked out, God will turn up the heat in your life. But don't get depressed on me. Don't get discouraged, because the extra heat is necessary for you to come out purified and separated. Look at your neighbor and say, he's turning up the heat. Look at your neighbor and say, he's turning up the heat. Don't worry about if you start sweating in your life. That's all right, baby. God is turning up the heat. He's turning up the heat to make you better. He's turning up the heat to purify you. He's turning up the heat because you got some things connected to you that ain't supposed to be there. But if you can survive the heat, if you can survive the fire, you shall come forth. The impurities fall off the gold when it's at that high temperature. It's because everything not gold cannot handle that type of fire. I'm hoping y'all catch this.